Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Phil DeVasto. We're here today at Hosmer Chiropractic Health, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to treat the hamstrings, specifically how you can treat them at home. Hamstrings traditionally are a tough area to treat. I'm sure you've all tried foam rolling the hamstrings and you just can't get enough tension on them. So what we're going to talk about today is 3 ways to best kind of treat the hamstrings at home. First is we're going to use the Supernova ball. This is a new product that's out. It's just a lot firmer than the foam roller is, and you can really get a lot more leverage when you're treating the hamstrings. So we're going to go into this first. So when you're using this at home, the way we're going to get the hamstrings is we're going to start down on our backs, and we're going to try to treat the hamstrings all the way from the knee attachments to the sit bone. Okay, so just like you're using the foam roller, get it right underneath. We're going to get some tension on there, and just like other foam rolling applications, we're going to just roll slowly through the muscle 3 or 4 times just to get an idea of how it feels. And what we're looking for is areas that feel tight, that feel tender, that just feel a little bit different than the rest of the muscle tissue. And if we find a spot in there, that's where we're going to try to sink in, get a lot of force in there, and see if we can do a little bit of mini rolling through there to try to get that area to break up. There's really no right or wrong way to this. You can go up and down, you can go left and right. We really just want you to find those tight, tender spots within that muscle and spend some time working them out. This Supernova ball is really effective at getting in all muscle tissue, but we find it's really beneficial for the hamstrings, especially since the foam roller just does not do a great job. So try this out at home, work through the back of the hamstrings, see if you can get them to loosen up. So this would be the first step, kind of working through the hamstrings, getting that muscle tissue loose. The next step, I'm going to show you 2 different stretches. First is going to be the belt stretch. So at home, a yoga strap or a belt. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to get strapped on the foot. Now it's important, we're going to stretch this muscle in a few different directions. The hamstring is a 2-joint muscle, which means it crosses the hip joint. It also crosses the knee joint. So we need to get that stretched out over both joints. So we're going to lay down on our backs. We're going to let this leg become dead weight here, and all the weight is going to be in through the hands. In this first stretch, we're going to keep the knee straight, and we're just going to bring our leg up. Take it up about as far as you can. When you find tension, I want you to try to sit here for about 30 to 60 seconds, increasing the pull as needed. So this is the first position. You should feel a good stretch right behind the knee on this one. The second position, we're going to actually bend that knee. Hamstrings go on slack at the knee, and now we're stretching the hamstrings at their upper attachment. And same thing, you're going to keep that knee slightly bent, and we're just going to pull and then straighten that knee slightly while we're down here. And now you should feel the pull all the way through the back of the hamstrings here. This is the second position. We're going to come back up. Third position is going to be slightly across the body with the leg, and then we're going to pull up. Now we're working more of the outer hamstrings. Same thing, 30 to 60 seconds here. That was 3. Fourth position is going to be slightly away from the body, and now we're working more of the inner hamstrings, and we'll pull up in this position. And then the final position, we're going to let this leg go all the way down, and we're going to work the interface between the adductors and the hamstrings. So we're going to let this leg drop, and we're going to work on pulling it up as we let it drop, up, drop. Right here, we're going to find tension. We're going to hold this for about 30 to 60 seconds here. And this is the 5th position. So when we talk about the 5-position belt stretch, that's what we're referring to. Should take you about 5 minutes to get through it if you're doing 60-second holds. The final thing we're going to talk about is actually using the bands to get a really deep stretch on the hamstrings. So when we're using a band, you'll want to secure it somewhere tight. And what we're going to do for the hamstrings, we're going to do 2 different banded stretches. We're going to get it right over the front of the hip that we're stretching, and we're going to walk out until we create some tension. Knee's going to stay slightly bent here. And what we're going to do with the knee bent is I'm going to bend forward and touch the ground. And now the stretch is going to be to go from the bent position with the knee to the straight position, and we're going to do repetitions of that. So it'll look something like this. We're going to get down here, get some good tension, and then back and bend, back and bend. And if you feel like you can't go all the way, you might want to walk backwards a little bit so there's not as much tension on there, or you're just going to need to keep working through some of these until you improve some of that hamstring flexibility. So again, we're down here, and we're working the hamstring all the way back, and you can really feel a good deep stretch through the entire hamstring with this. That's the first one. The other way we can use the band here to stretch the hamstrings, again, we're going to work some tension into it, but we're going to start with the legs straight. And now instead of bending at the knee, we're just going to bend at the upper body. So as I bend down here, I can feel the stretch all through the back of that hamstring. So we'll start here and bend down straight. And again, to work the outer and inner side of that hamstring, we can kind of go down to an angle. So instead of just working in this one plane, why don't you come down across this way and actually reach down this way, and same thing, let's come down this way and reach across this way. Again, you can do repetitions of these. I would recommend starting, I don't know, see if you can get about 10 or 20. The goal is going to be to at least get about 20, 25 at a time when you're doing some of these repetitions, working that hamstring flexibility. Each time you do it, you should be able to get a little further, and that's going to be probably one of the most efficient ways to lengthen those hamstrings and get a good stretch on them at home. So just a quick recap, start by using the supernova ball, or as we like to call it in the office, the Death Star. Start out here to loosen the tissue up, work a little bit of the belt stretch, and then go on into the banded stretch. So that's it for today. Keep those hamstrings loose.